So guys, I've had a chance to check out the whole season of Harley Quinn on the DC Universe streaming service, which, as many of you have likely already seen, looked pretty fantastic from the trailers. But this is so much more than that. When I first saw the trailer for this, I thought, wow, okay, this is something I can get on board with, a really edgy, kind of R-rated animated show, which explores Harley's breakup from the Joker in a style that totally seems up my street. And I say that because, don't get me wrong, I'm a fan of DC animated shows or movies, but I don't exactly prioritize it over the other entertainment I invest in. But when it comes to this Harley Quinn show, well, holy shit, I eat my words. So this is a show that I truly feel like many people have been looking for, and I'm just over the moon to even say that this is even a thing. And I know it may sound like I'm potentially overhyping this to some people who are watching this right now, but honestly, take it from me, I'm not. I'm really not. It's that good. This is genuinely one of the best things to come out from DC in a long, long time, and I truly feel like it deserves the praise of being one of those highly held trophies of DC that you would put up there with some of your favorite iterations, and yes, I mean this, of like some of your favorite movies from DC and just other things of the like. I feel like this is honestly such a home run for DC Universe, and it needs to get that exposure, and everyone needs to see this because, yeah, I've got a feeling this will be huge as long as, you know, people see it. So with enough gushing over Harley Quinn for a second, in today's video, you can probably tell I'm going to be reviewing the first season, or just, you know, give my overall thoughts and impressions on the Harley Quinn DC Universe animated show. I can't go into too much detail due to future episodes, you know, being embargoed, so I can't go into exactly what happens or this, that, and the other. But I feel like I can talk enough about this, which should be hopefully enough to get you all excited. And if you aren't, then honestly, you're missing out. But before we get into the rest of my thoughts on Harley Quinn, everyone, go ahead and like this video if you do go on to enjoy it. Subscribe for more DC Universe and comic book nerdy videos like this. And yeah, let's continue kind of fanboying out about this show. So as a lot of you have probably already gathered from the trailers, Harley Quinn has broken things off once and for all with the Joker and attempts to make it on her own as the criminal Queenpin of Gotham City, which along the course of the season features a whole range of characters with incredible voice acting. First of all, there's Kaylee Cuoco, who voices Harley Quinn, and honestly, I feel like she just kills it in the role. She personifies the role to what I could only describe as one of the most fun and accurate iterations yet, and I really feel like the die-hard Harley Quinn fans are just gonna love what you see from her. Which kind of in turn just brings me to Lake Bell's Poison Ivy, which was such an entertaining pair throughout the series, alongside her Frank the Plant, voiced by J.B. Smoove, I believe. And although their relationship might not go where some Harley and Ivy fans may want, the pairing throughout the season is just about everything a fan could want from the duo for the most part. But for those of you who are looking for that kind of romantic story between Harley and Ivy, recently the showrunners did tease that they eventually may get round to that, but the first season is setting the table for the world of the show, which is, you know, just setting up their friendship. But they did believe that they did sprinkle a little bit of that into the early episodes. But I mean, I don't think it was there loads, but I guess you could get little tidbits of that, but don't expect full-blown Harley or Ivy or anything like that for season 1. And here's the thing about Lake Bell's Poison Ivy. I couldn't nearly imagine the series being the same without her. Not that the show doesn't have so many other impressive qualities, but honestly, Ivy is one of the best parts about this show. Then if you're a fan of what DC Universe has done as well in its other shows, such as Doom Patrol, you may recognize the voice of the Joker, who is none other than Alan Tudyk, who has also played the main villain of, well, as we just said, Doom Patrol, Mr. Nobody. But this should kind of go without saying. I mean, I'm just a big fan of Alan Tudyk anyway and what he's done with DC, but in this, he's just a true talent, and I love seeing him this prominent in DC. But, you know, on that note, since obviously this is a show centered around the story of Harley and Joker's breakup, the Joker is involved in it quite a fair bit, you could say. And despite how great he is in this show, I'm willing to bet that he won't necessarily be one of your major highlights, and that's a good thing, because this is one of the signs that this show is excelling in what it wants to do, being that it is a Harley Quinn show after all. And kind of what I mean by that is I'm not selling Alan Tudyk's Joker short at all, far from it. I really enjoyed his take on the character. It's just that currently the Joker is usually the most talked about thing in whatever the character is involved in, usually no matter how little or big the role may be. But it's refreshing that despite how much of a good job they did with his character in the show, there are many other qualities and character characters that are spent so wisely in these episodes that are just as good, which doesn't really see the clown prince of crime dominate every single episode he is in. Like, everyone else is just as enjoyable, if not some are even more enjoyable at times, and I can't wait to see your guys' reactions to those characters. Speaking of the rest of the characters, you know, the villains and just the cast in general, it's just all done so perfectly, and it was pretty awesome even hearing Rahul Kohli's British accent for Scarecrow, which is, you know, a change, I guess, which as many fans of iZombie should naturally love that. But also, this iteration of Bane is probably one of my favorite characters in the show as well. I mean, they have a really funny kind of Dark Knight Rises twist to it, but unlike that, he's not really seen as the genius by the other villains in this show, which provokes some of the funniest moments I just couldn't help but laugh to. One thing I haven't emphasized nearly enough in this review so far is that in this show, DC doesn't remotely hold back at all. And when I say that, I really mean it. Like, this is R-rated, edgy, adult-themed, you know, animation, you know, branded for a reason. Episode to episode, there's just so much action which comes with some brutal violence, but it doesn't feel out of place, as of course this surrounds Harley Quinn, who is stopping at nothing to try and gain her own seat at the table, so to speak, which throughout the series has many trying moments that splash action and hilarious edginess into your face, but, you know, you'll welcome it, wanting more and more of those hilarious highlight moments of the episodes again and again. But speaking of those moments being hilarious, that is primarily what this show is. The comedy is great, and let's not pretend that there aren't loads of comedic animation shows out there, but, you know, yet again, take this from me, I'm not really without humor, but often I find myself watching a certain show or two from time to time and jokes are displayed, but is it just me? Do you sometimes feel yourself not laughing so much despite, you know, getting the joke? It just doesn't always land right, and it's just like, okay, that was like a cool episode. I mean, that's at least how I feel anyway when it comes to various comedic shows from a similar vein, but when it comes to Harley Quinn, I was really entertained at mostly every corner. Now, I do acknowledge that this may perhaps be down to also the fact that I'm getting that form of not holding back comedy that involves some of my favorite comic book heroes and villains, so that may have a part to play in it, but also maybe it might just be that good. The writers of this show just truly, I mean, when you see episode to episode, they've truly made this colorful, explosive cocktail. And as I teased earlier, it shines throughout the cast and various characters you get to see highlighted episode to episode, with funny takes from the villains from the Legion of Doom. But for me, Ivy and Harley's bouncing back off each other dynamics spread throughout is probably what I latch onto most. It's also interesting to note that Harley Quinn on DC Universe will have a very similar kind of, at least, theme to that of Birds of Prey, but way before Birds of Prey is even out next year. With that movie also centering around how Harley has stepped outside the Joker's shadow to come into her own, and honestly, even though this is an animation, it does make me wonder if Birds of Prey will even be able to compare to this. And wait, before you even say, but you haven't even seen the movie, how can you even possibly say that? I say this because that's how much of a good job this first season has done with depicting the story of Harley stepping out of the Joker's shadow and, you know, just purely examining it based on that material. Of course, you could say that these are two completely separate things, but the larger question I'm pondering coming out of this season is, what are you more entertained by? And I just feel like it's going to be very hard to top this adventure of Harley Quinn, as I feel like it's borderline the definitive Harley Quinn experience. Now, another interesting factor of this is that Harley Quinn is 13 episodes long and it's being released weekly. Now, I do feel like the pacing of the episodes are conducted in such a way where I feel like it is fit for a week-to-week release, except that I don't really see how you wouldn't be dying for more, which just leads me to the binge question, because this show does feel as though you could easily binge practically the whole season in one sitting. Now, the episodes are just over 20 minutes long per one, and I find it fascinating to consider how perhaps audiences would have preferred to have started this release on their Friday night, storming their way through the first half of the season, before maybe even then finishing it over the weekend perhaps, which hopefully would have resulted in an overdose of a great first impression. But then again, on the other side of things, I find it interesting to put myself in those shoes, because I'm fortunate to have had the opportunity to binge the whole season. However, if I were made to wait each week, I think that's only a good thing as well. And I say that because this show is so creative, brilliant, funny. Obviously, if you're into DC and Harley anyway, I feel like it's just a match made in heaven. So having it drip fed to you one episode at a time will for sure have people coming back to DC Universe week after week to tune in to the latest episode. And, you know, I guess ultimately it would work either way as a binge or a weekly release. But overall, everyone, when I say that this is practically the definitive Harley Quinn experience all wrapped up into 13 episodes, I sure as hell mean it. I mean, you can probably tell that through the amount of compliments I've given this show in this review. This show just offers so much in every episode, from really hilarious jokes packed into every opportune moment without ever really feeling flavorless, and also just spans a whole range of DC characters, some of which were just fantastic to see, but also just don't feel overspent or exhausting at any moment. They're scattered throughout perfectly, and if anything, you're just wanting more from said character. Another thing as well is that through how successful and impressed I am by this first season is that you can tell the people who worked on this show, they just love what they're doing and its characters, and who only probably had some of the greatest time in their career making this. So from the cast to the art and design of the show to the comedy and ridiculousness of DC Universe's Harley Quinn, get ready for something truly special. I mean, I just need season 2, and I have no doubt that that is happening. And if it doesn't, then it's probably one of the greatest crimes ever. Yeah, we're getting season 2. I mean, we have to, right? So there you have it, everyone. Those are my thoughts on the first season of Harley Quinn. I wish I could have gone into more detail, but I just can't. But like, I hope that gives you a general kind of first impressions on just everything. I trust that you guys will love this. Like, take this from me, even if you're not a heavy like kind of animation kind of watcher of DC stuff, like, trust me, give this a shot. It's only like 22 minutes per episode out of your day. Watch the first couple of episodes, and I practically guarantee you will fall in love with just everything about this show. And I can't wait to see more, and I can't wait to see your reaction. So let me know if you're hyped for this. Let me know if you've been looking forward to this every step along the way. And let me know even if you want to see more videos on this. I mean, I could do episode reviews per episode, but I've never done anything like that for like a 22-minute thing. So I don't know, depending on how this video does and what you guys say, we can look into that. But other than that, everyone, like this video if you did enjoy it. Subscribe for more videos just like this. If you want to talk about Harley Quinn when it comes out more specifically with me, you can do so in my Discord server. I'll leave that in the top pinned comment down below. I recommend if you have Twitter, following me on there. That is my most active kind of social media thing. Check out my last couple of videos here. But apart from that, everyone, thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a lovely rest of your day. And trust me, check out DC Universe's Harley Quinn coming out this Friday, November 29th. You will not regret it.